Yo, what's up YouTube? Magneto's back, and in this video I'll be talking about how to build a DPS loadout from scratch without the need for any named items, green equipments, or even exotics. This is a beginner's guide. I've noticed a lot of players having problems building their own DPS loadouts, trying to farm day and night for those specific named items and exotics. You don't have to do that, guys. The thing is, this game works on an RNG basis. That means you have a chance of getting anything and everything in this game, even though you have paid for the full game and the DLC. Talking about the seasons and global events, for those who own the Warlords of New York DLC, as you level up in the season, you get the newer named items. Most of them are trash. Personally, I claimed those items and just threw it in my stash, untouched. On completing global events, you can claim a named item cache and an exotic cache and just pray to RNGs as if you want something in specific. Okay, I should get back. I've seen many YouTubers stressing on certain named items and exotics, categorizing them as must-haves, but that's not true. There are a few exotics like Coyote's Mask, Tardigrade Vest, which are pretty good for group synergies. I'm not saying not to use any of those exotics and named items, don't get me wrong. If you get them, use them, play around with them. All I'm saying is that the entire game can be beaten without a single exotic or named item. You don't really need them. You can beat the raid, you can beat challenging and heroic difficulty missions with ease, as long as you have your weapon damage, crit chance and crit damage up. You will be considered as DPS. Once you start getting them god rolled, it's even better. You can take them into the dark zone and conflict and mow down other players. So this is a very simple, basic and easy to farm assault rifle DPS build, which hits really hard. If you're a new player who has reached the end game content and those agents who just wanna have fun, after all it's a fucking game, this should be your go-to build. Nothing fancy required and it deals the damage you need. So let's get to the build, shall we? You wanna definitely go for the Providence defense pieces. They are the ones with the anchor symbol, as they are the strongest equipment pieces out there based on the damage output it provides. 3 pieces will activate 10% headshot damage, 10% crit chance and 15% crit damage. These pieces have red mod slots. Keep in mind only masks, the body vest and the backpack have mod slots. Secondly, you do want to get your hands on a Siska Wyombra. They are the ones with the hammer symbol. These have a blue mod slot. One piece will get you 10% crit chance. You also want to have a piece of Grupo Sombra. They are the ones with the GS symbol. These have a yellow mod slot. One piece will fetch you 15% crit damage. And finally, you must have a piece of Fenris group. They have a face of a wolf as their symbol. Gives you 10% assault rifle damage. This has a red mod slot as well. Since this game has a lot of diversity, you can use rifles, LMGs, SMGs, snipers, all depending on your playstyle. All you gotta do is replace the Fenris group piece with any of the following depending on the weapon of your choice. Petrov Defense for LMG, Overlord for rifles, Sokolov Concern for SMGs, Badger Tough for shotguns, RLD Holdings for snipers. All these brand pieces have a red mod slot. Best way to get these items is go into your maps. If you look down, you'll see the targeted loot. Click that or just press the letter R on your keyboard if you're on PC. The number of loot drops are generally higher with more players in your squad. So basically you can have these 6 pieces in absolutely any order, but keep in mind the mod slots. Ideally you should have 3 red mod slots for mask, vest and backpack. If you have a blue slot, protection from elites would be good, and if you have a yellow, skill haste is what you want to go for. It's ideal to have all 3 red attributes on every equipment piece. Core attribute as weapon damage, and others as crit chance and crit damage. Max crit chance you can have is 60%, but about 45 to 50 is decent. And then after that, stack as much as crit damage as you can, because it doesn't have any limit, unlike the crit chance. So about 120% crit damage and above is fairly good. Higher the better. You can also increase your crit chance and damage by placing mods into your red mod slot. Now coming to the vest and backpack talents, in my opinion try out all the talents which the game has to offer, check them all out. You can read about the various talents in the recalibration library. So far Unbreakable on the vest is pretty good for that survivability you need. And as of your backpack, Vigilance and Concussion would be good for to further boost your total weapon damage. As of specialization, Survivalist is good when you're running solo because of that 10% reduction in damage from elites. Sharpshooter is good for the 15% weapon stability and the headshot damage using rifle MMR. Tactician is good for the extra +1 skill tier and the underbarrel laser to spot enemies while aiming. Firewall for the OP medkit bonus and the striker shield. And finally the gunner, which is good for LMGs. Now coming to the assault rifle, the ACRE, the AK-47 and the FAMAS are really good in my opinion. It hits really hard, and for my secondary weapon I use is the M1A, which is still really good after the nerfs. I encourage you to try out all the weapons as you progress in the game, and as of weapon talents, I really recommend either Optimist, Killer or Ranger because it further increases your damage output. You can check them all out in the recalibration library. I'm just trying to cover up everything here. Oh yeah, as of for the attributes on your assault rifle, you have fixed weapon damage, damage to health. The third one would be good for damage to armor or damage to targets out of cover. And skills, I highly recommend the Revive Hive. It can be your best friend at times. And you could use a repair drone for the continuous armor regen. Yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have watched till the end, really appreciate it if you hit that like button and then the subscribe button as well, since you're already down there. See you guys in the next video, and cheers.